Hello, welcome to the Eagle's Wing podcast. This is your host, Deuce Brandt. Today we are in chapter 16 of Proverbs in the Amplified Bible. The plans of the mind and orderly thinking belong to man, but from the Lord comes the wise answer of the tongue. All the ways of man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirits, the thoughts and intents of the heart. Roll your works upon the Lord. Commit and trust them wholly to him. He will cause your thoughts to become agreeable to his will, and so shall your plans be established and succeed. The Lord has made everything to accommodate itself and contribute to its own end and his own purpose. Even the wicked are fitted for their role for the days of calamity and evil. Everyone proud and arrogant in heart is disgusting, hateful and exceedingly offensive to the Lord. But be assured, I pledge it, they will not go unpunished. By mercy and love, truth and fidelity to God and man, not by sacrificial offerings. Iniquity is purged out of the heart, and by the reverent, fearful, wonderful fear of the Lord, men depart from and avoid evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness, uprightness in every area and relation to right standing with God, than great revenues with injustice. A man's mind plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps and makes them sure. Divinely directed decisions are on the lips of the king. His mouth should not transgress in judgment. A just balance and scales are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work, established on his eternal principles. It is an abomination to God and man for kings to commit wickedness. For a throne is established and made secure by righteousness, moral and spiritual rectitude in every area and relation. Right and just lips are the delight of the king, and he loves him who speaks what is right. The wrath of the king is a messenger of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud bringing the spring rain. How much better is it to get skillful and godly wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The highway of the upright turns aside from evil. He who guards his way preserves his life. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better is it to be of a humble spirit with the meek and poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who deals wisely and heeds God's word and counsel shall find good, and whoever leans on, trusts in, and is confident in the Lord, happy, blessed, and fortunate is he. The wise in heart are called prudent, understanding and knowing, and winsome speech is increased learning in both speaker and listener. Understanding is a wellspring of life to those who have it, but to give instruction to fools is folly. The mind of the wise instructs his mouth and adds learning and persuasiveness to his lips. Pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the mind and healing to the body. There is a way that seems right to a man that appears straight before him, but in the end of it is the way of death. The appetite of the laborer works for him, for the need of his mouth urges him on. A worthless man devises and digs up mischief, and in his lips there is a scoffing fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisper separates close friends. The exceedingly grasping, covetous, and violent man entices his neighbor, leading him in a way that is not good. He who shuts his eyes to devise perverse things, and he who compresses his lips as if in concealment brings evil to pass. The hoary head is the crown of beauty, and glory if it is found in the way of righteousness, moral and spiritual rectitude in every area of relation. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. He who rules his own spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the decision is wholly on the Lord. Even the events that seem accidental are really ordered by him. A couple things from this proverb that stands out to me is, talking about when a man's way pleases the Lord, he makes even his enemies be at peace with him. This is a byproduct of living a life of honor, of values, of, your word being impeccable. Because if you have a character where people cannot accuse you of things, or if you are accused of something, that people just won't believe it because you have that reputation, you have a life that has been honorable. Very important, very important. So also how a man's mind plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps and makes them sure. Here's the thing. We often will create plans and they seem good to us. Unfortunately, later in the chapter, it talks about how there is a way that seems right to a man and appears straight before him, but at the end of it is the way of death. So this is when you don't seek wise counsel, when you don't have a relationship with God and are acting in wisdom, where we can pursue things, we can pursue plans that just don't benefit us and that are not in our favor. And so it is very, very important and vital that you have a multitude of counselors that you run your ideas by. And sometimes these are your close friends. It might be your spouse. It might be your parents. It might be your mentor. It might be that you pay somebody who has already gone through what you are trying to do. And, you pay them to consult with you. You read a book, you read a biography. There's a lot of different ways of doing this, but we have to have a way of discerning our plans. And then we also have to be able to walk away when it's clearly not going to be in our favor. Or if you start down a path and it's not good, you got to be able to go back and, do something different. Change your plan, change your direction. And then there's other times where you have a good plan, you have good counsel with your mentors, and, it's just slow. Sometimes you just got to grind it out and continue, but you've got to have some kind of system on how you're going to make those decisions. So that's going to end today's proverb. This is your host, Deuce Brandt, for the Eagles Wing podcast. I hope you have a great day.